John Carpenter's The Fog. I'm a huge movie buff, but to be more specific, I'm an even bigger horror movie buff. The Fog solidly falls in my number 3 spot of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it 1,000 times, and I'll easily watch it 1,000 times more. And let me clear something up real quick too before getting this review started to avoid any potential confusion among my viewers. I am not reviewing the 2005 remake starring Smallville Superman Tom Welling. This is a review for the original 1980 film, which is superior in every way. I'm going to give you some clear instructions on what to do if you accidentally find yourself holding a copy of the remake, because it can happen. But don't worry, I've got you covered. I'm here to help. First thing you're going to want to do is find one of these, preferably one that's uninhabited. Now, take that DVD and just drop it right in there. This next step is a little more dangerous. Find one of these, or something similar, preferably something nuclear, something powerful enough to completely disintegrate the movie and all surrounding infected areas too. And make sure you wash your hands, please. You touched the movie, so you're gonna have to use some hot water and soap. And with every copy of that movie that's destroyed, you are performing a public service. You're protecting people from purchasing the incorrect copy and being exposed to this nonsense. You are a hero. The man behind this movie is legendary director John Carpenter, who is also responsible for other classics such as Halloween, Escape from New York, and The Thing, which are all must-see movies. He even briefly makes an appearance right there. And you know what I've noticed? He likes to use the same actors across different movies that he's involved in. Here you've got Jamie Lee Curtis, which he also used as the main character in Halloween. And you've got Nancy Kyes there with the brown hair. She also had a role in Halloween alongside Jamie Lee Curtis. And she also played the mom in Halloween 3. Now, speaking of Halloween 3, there's Tom Atkins with her, who happens to be one of the main characters in The Fog. The movie is a classic ghost story, and that's exactly how it starts out. And this is easily one of my favorite openings in any movie. It starts with an old man telling a ghost story around a campfire to a bunch of kids. The music, his voice, all the faces on the kids, it all creates this perfect feeling that takes me back to the days of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Hopefully some of you guys remember that show.
When the fog returns to Antonio Bay, the men at the bottom of the sea, out in the water by Spivey Point, will rise up and search for the campfire that led them to their dark and icy death.
And the story takes place in the small coastal town of Antonio Bay, and the town is getting ready to celebrate its 100th year anniversary of being founded. Father Malone, the town priest, discovers an old journal in the walls of his church that happens to have been written by his grandfather, who also happens to have helped found the town. And here he discovers the dark secret behind how the town was funded. His grandfather and 5 other men deliberately caused the death of a group of people with leprosy who were just looking for a home, and who also happened to be wealthy. So they stole the gold and used it to build the church and the town.
April 21st, the deed is done. Blake followed our false fire on shore, and his ship broke apart on the rocks off Spivey Point. We were aided by an unearthly fog that rolled in as if heaven sent, although God had no part in our actions tonight. Our celebration tonight is a travesty. We're honoring murderers.
Now, on the eve of the town's anniversary celebration, things start going crazy. Phones start ringing, this grocery store clerk drinks from an orange juice container, and he puts it back. That's disgusting. Everything starts shaking, lights turn on by themselves, cars are going crazy, gas pumps are acting up, TVs are turning on, furniture's moving by itself.
This town sits around for 100 years and nothing happens, and then one night the whole place falls apart.
And the main characters you follow are Elizabeth the hitchhiker and Nick, who happens to be a local fisherman in Antonio Bay. And Stevie, who is a radio DJ that operates out of the lighthouse, and she gives local weather reports. Now, some fishermen out at sea catch a glimpse of a mysterious fog rolling in.
There's a fog bank out there.
And with that fog comes the people who died in the sea to help found Antonio Bay. and they want to kill the descendants of the town's founders. One of the biggest praises I can give this movie is that it doesn't depend on a ton of gore and blood to be scary, like so many modern horror movies do. It proves that a successful horror movie can be made by creating a creepy atmosphere and keeping its monsters mysterious. All the effects are practical, all the ghosts / zombies are costumes, and The Fog was made with fog machines, and it looks fantastic. If this movie were made today, this would be all CG animated, as it was in the remake. It's lazy and it's unnecessary. Practical effects will always look and feel better. Most of the scare factor in the movie relies on jump scares and loud noises, which are always fun.
Father Malone? Jesus.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
Mrs. Williams.
DJ Stevie's son goes outside and finds a piece of the sunken ship, and he takes it with him, while Elizabeth and Nick look for the missing fishermen from the night before, not yet realizing that they've all been killed. So they find the ship in shambles. And I dare you to find someone that delivers better screams than Jamie Lee Curtis. Well, DJ Stevie took the piece of wood her son found to the radio station. It's never a good idea having haunted objects around.
It's like an albatross around the neck. No more like a millstone. A plumbing stone, by God. Damn them all.
Elizabeth and Nick took the body they found on the boat back to town, and it gets back up. With all this craziness happening, Antonio Bay goes ahead and starts the 100th anniversary celebrations, and the fog starts rolling in. And like a typical movie monster, it destroys the phone lines, and it even goes as far as cutting the power to the town. This freaks out DJ Stevie, since she left her son with a babysitter in town, right in the middle of the fog, and she pleads for help on the radio. So Nick comes in like a superhero and punches the window out and rescues the boy. And in an awesomely cliche moment, the car doesn't start. Of course. And this is the climax of the movie right here. Everyone's hiding out in Father Malone's church as the ghosts in the fog attack, and it looks like something right out of Night of the Living Dead. And Father Malone discovers that the church's cross is made from the same gold that was originally stolen. So what does he do? He gives it back and tries to say I'm sorry. So the ghosts take their gold and disappear, and all is back to normal. Or is it? Now, The Fog isn't one of the more well-known horror movies out there like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and it definitely didn't start a franchise like they did. There was only one movie, but it's a classic in its own right, and there's really no other movie like it that I can think of from the top of my head, from that time at least. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. If you have seen it, well, go watch it again. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed your weekly Midnight Movies review. And remember, subscribe, like, and comment down below. Have you seen this movie yet? If you have, how'd you like it?